Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about the top 5 reasons that younger women like older men. But first, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been stopping by, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, even donating. And if you haven't already, please go ahead, click the subscribe button, click the bell symbol next to it, and accept the email notifications. It'll help me grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to everybody who's been stopping by on the podcasts. I was talking on a podcast last night, for 8 hours. So if my voice is a little scratchy, that's why. But I really appreciate you guys, stopping by and hanging around and sharing your opinions. And I hope to do more of that in the future. Okay, let me tell you what I'm talking about. 5 reasons why younger women like older men. And we're going to build up to the reasons. We're going to have to build a complete picture here, okay? You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the number 5 reason why younger women like older men is because the older men are more experienced and have more confidence and inspire more confidence in the younger woman. And, as long as the man isn't too old, it's actually comforting to be around someone who is confident and not uncomfortable and not completely awkward. So it's understandable. And, someone who knows where they're going, right? Someone who knows what they're doing, whether it be driving a car, navigating to a place, or, ordering dinner, whatever, dealing with their own emotions. Being around someone is an exchange. Whether or not, they're talking or doing anything, it's an exchange of personalities. So experience counts, confidence really counts. Okay, moving on. Number 4, the older man has more resources, straight up. And again, that's very attractive to women. So in other words, you could have 2 men that were essentially the same in the woman's eyes, but one of them has $1 million. Doesn't matter where he got it, okay? These 2 men that were identical twins, okay? Suddenly, the one that has the $1 million, he's a much more attractive person. He really is, in the woman's eyes. In a man's eyes, these 2 people are the same. One of them has $1 million. And perhaps it is an indication of their character, right? But not necessarily, So if anything, from a man's point of view, the one that has the $1 million over time might start to look soft, and the one that doesn't might start to look lean and hungry. You really don't know why people have what they have. You don't know the backgrounds that people are coming from, so you don't want to judge it either way. You really don't. You need to be careful. But from a female point of view, no, that's absurd. Why would you care? It's as if you're in a hostile world where you need protection and shelter, and there's 2 men that are identical, and one of them has shelter and security and strength and looks like he can fight off anything that's behind you, and the other one doesn't. Which one are you going to go towards? Well, it's a silly question. You're going to go towards security and resources and comfort, especially if you need those things personally. So this is natural, instinctual behavior acting out. That's why, this is number 4 reason why younger women like older men, because he appears to be offering a lot more to her, okay? And he has more resources. And this appeals to the female greater than it appeals to the male. And I think that this is a very important concept, that it's not the same. We're not all equal. We're not even looking at the world in the same way. Men and women are not looking at the exact same situation and seeing it exactly the same. They're evaluating it from different points of views. They're looking at things that are valuable in a different way. They're looking to interact with that environment, with that tool, whatever, in different ways. And I believe that the young man looks at the situation and says, oh, we're all the same and we're all seeing it the same way. We're all evaluating it the same way. And this even goes down into how the women use the language. Okay, moving on. Number 3, the reason why younger women like older men is combining number 4 and 5, the older man will spend more resources on the woman. And like it or not, this makes her feel valued. I remember being a younger man. I think I remember. Perhaps it was just a dream. And thinking, wow, this is really unfair. Here's these women my age, attractive young women, and they're going out with these older guys that, are just much more established, and me thinking those older guys don't really care about her, and I'm a nice guy. Yeah, so I remember thinking that, and how unfair this all is. And I understand. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm back. Where was I? This trip down memory lane brought to you by the Howard Dare channel. And if you haven't already, I hope you remember to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell symbol next to it, and accept the email notifications. It'll help me grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. Okay, moving on. Number 2 reason why younger women like older men. And this is related to the previous reasons, okay? You would think that the younger woman resents being objectified. In other words, she's put herself into a situation where an older, more experienced man is throwing resources at her and doesn't seem to really care about her, right? And you would think, especially as a younger man, well, this is unacceptable. He clearly doesn't hold her in high regard emotionally or view her as an equal, okay? And you would be right, or it turns out that doesn't bother the woman, that she's willing to accept that disparity in power, that it almost appeals to her. And understand that if a young waitress marries a multimillionaire, she immediately assumes his social status. I mean, not necessarily immediately, but she is then moving around his friends in his social circles. And it has to be assumed that she belongs there. So, like a fairy tale story, right? A very wealthy, powerful man goes to the poorest place and finds the most worthy but attractive young woman and then brings her home and makes her a princess. And now she behaves, as, well, yeah, that's the fantasy. That's the story that's going on. And it's going on inside her mind, and it's going on inside of his mind. And you would think that this is something that women would object to, right? Like, surely if this was the plot of a movie, the feminists would be saying, this is an unacceptable movie, right? But not necessarily, especially when you consider the type of movies that women and, novels that women really like. Yeah, this story should sound kind of familiar. So the older man doesn't care about her emotionally. He is well above her in power and status. He merely throws resources at her like she is an object. And this seems to suit her just fine. There's a reason why we have so many stories that follow this particular plot line. It's upsetting, especially to the young man that has romantic interest in the women or the woman, right? And she's putting herself into this other situation where he can't compete, and where, whether she realizes it or not, she holds very little value, and the power dynamic is against her. So you have to ask yourself, why is this what they seek out? And that brings us to the number 1 reason why younger women like older men. And I told you that this was going to be a combination of the previous reasons, okay, that they're going to be related to each other. So understand, right? She's attracted to somebody with a lot more experience, that has a lot more resources than the men her own age, that throws those resources at her, but doesn't seem to really care about her. And this dynamic, which you would think would be really disagreeable to women and feminists and social justice warriors, is in fact the most popular theme of female entertainment. This is their fantasy, right? Okay, so tying all those things together, the number 1 reason why the younger women want to get together with the older men is because all of those previous reasons combined with the fact that he's old and he's going to die soon, and she is going to get those resources, that she is going to assume everything that is his simply because she is an attractive woman. And further, understand that the power dynamic, once she has an emotional hook into the man, the power dynamic starts to change, doesn't it? And even the most wealthy man in the world can be brought down, can't he, by a woman that accuses him of some sort of misconduct, even suggesting that, oh, he never actually did anything, but there were times when I felt a little uncomfortable. And a whole world of white knights will come to the woman's rescue and defend her. And the more attractive and the younger she is, and the more, frightened that she acts, the more the world will respond. So, I want you to understand that she's putting herself into a power dynamic where her attractiveness, the man's emotional attachment and affection and romantic interest in her is what gives her power and leverage. So she's leveraging her sexuality against the most powerful men. That's the fantasy, to their demise, so that she can assume the power. And if she doesn't see herself as having this type of power, right, she becomes a feminist. She becomes a malcontent. No, I'm just making a joke. I don't know what she does now. So I just wanted to offer some ideas and some insight as to what's going on there, especially to the younger men, that are looking at the, younger women, their own age, and saying they're actually going out of their way to shun us and to, knock us down, right? Now, if you want, I should do that in another video, like what the women should do, how they should interact with the men their own age and build relationships. But that's going to have to be another video. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.